I'm good. How are you? Oh, I see you really radiant as well today.
Yeah, just run errands. I figure I'd jump on and say hi.
It's so good energy lately. Like it really feels like we jumped into another fucking reality.
Just wait until April 23rd. Just wait.
But even have you noticed like even the news in general, um like people don't give a shit no more. Like I'm not joking. They're not able to get our attention anymore. Have you noticed? Like I went to the shop today and I did a massage on a few clients and nobody believes it. No, I'm like, oh my God, like we are really, because we are not giving attention. Even people that are like, oh, I follow politics, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. No.
They are all unplugging. It's unbelievable. Like, I'm so happy about it.
You can only if you think about an elastic band, right? Like that's emotional or energetic being. Like if you stretch it in and out so much, it loses the elasticity. And
Yeah,
human self-preservation, once they've been pushed to that point where they choose themselves breaking or something else, they're going to start choosing themselves. And that's true for any dynamic, whether that's collective or relationship. And so these people, and it's true for abusers, right? They'll go as far as they can take it. And I think we're about to see that choice is either I'm going to snap, the collective being I, or I'm going to start choosing myself. And that's exactly what you're seeing. It's a desensitization, but it's because they've gone too far. They mishandled their playbook.
it,
So it's interesting
yes.
to watch. I'm right there with you. I'm just like, yep, you could have called this one coming because they'll give them an inch, they'll take a mile, right?
People are finally just tuning in the right fucking thing. Like, I don't know. I was walking on the street and even I'm at the shop, just people asking me stuff. And it's like, I did a few massages and I said to them, oh, I do also some coaching and but they book a coaching. I'm like, oh my God. Finally, it's like people are understanding that they need, like now they can sense where they have to go, to what they are attracted to, like for their best. I had a guy telling me, "Oh, you've done more in one coaching session than my counselor 13 years." And I'm like, "Yeah, because they don't speak about spirits, do they? Because counseling, psychologist,
Yeah,
therapy,
to defend all my therapists who may or may not be in the room, when they get the licensure, that dogma restricts them from being able to do certain things that energetic practitioners today can do. There are boundaries that can be pushed. So in their defense, they're doing exactly what they're
no,
supposed to. That's great that session worked out well.
yeah, I mean, it's not that I want to point finger, but it's them telling me this, and it's not the first person that is telling me 10 years to my psychotherapist. The other one was the counselor. It didn't do things that happen with you, and I mean, it's because we understand that there is not energies. You cannot omit energy. You cannot pretend like energy doesn't exist. Not anymore, at least.
No, no. I mean, but oh god, yeah, yeah. No, that's good though. I mean, you're seeing it, and that's like as within is without. So like, think about like how affirmed you are within with that reality. Like that's part of spiritual awakening is the validation thing, and you'll start seeing that as you're more valid to yourself, it becomes more valid outside of yourself. So it's a really exciting thing that you're experiencing.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't know, like all those all this time we all like the medical field or the mental health field has always been using the same tool. These tools, I think, uh, they need just a little update. It's not that they're wrong, but we need to take in consideration other aspect of mental health, which is the energetical body. And I don't know. I see people really disconnecting from all this knowledge, let's say, and connecting more with spirit, with energy, with It's beautiful. I don't know. I just feel I feel a strong shift, like a strong shift in the collective in general, like, um, almost like overnight. Like a turn of the eggs, you're cooking and it's like, what happened here? But yeah, even you, I see you way more radiant. I don't know, something in your eyes.
It's choosing whether you want to call it spirituality, psychology, whatever. It's choosing you, right? That's how that we talk about the new currency. Forget crypto, forget the reset. The newest currency, which has always existed, is energy,
Is
and
energy exactly?
people are making that choice, that conscious decision. Where am I? Because your attention is your energy, your emotional response is your energy. Where are you letting that go? And are you in control of it? And that takes practice, right? So that's and you we talk about it all being written, right? Like the bad guys, the good guys. But if you look at how the bad guys are like this pressure cooker for people finally to insert those boundaries and make those cuts, it's all like a beautiful play, and it's fun to watch. It's fun. I enjoy it.
No, I mean, because the bad guy. Okay, yes, yes, there are bad guys, but look, if like thanks to them, we are popping. People are, the pressure is like being in a pressure cooker, and like at some point it's just gonna blow up, and probably without them we wouldn't be in this point. So, and I mean, even families like people who never fucking saw nothing, now they are telling me, oh, I think I have to work on myself. And I was like, what? I was shaking at the phone when my father was like, oh yes, I have some anger issue. Like in fucking 60 years of life, he never admitted nothing.
So what you're
Nothing.
telling me is hell hath frozen over.
Anyway, did you hear that?
It's just I believe you. I've seen, yeah. I'm sure other people. I'm sure there's plenty of experiences with that where it's just like what. I've had some people that in the past really had it out for me are now on my team. So I've seen the switch, and I've also seen people that were on my team not be on my. It
Yeah,
is what it.
yeah, I have that too. That too. Well, I actually realized many people that would be super against narcissistic people, in reality they were the first fucking narcissist. So I saw that too. I saw, especially one guy that I was coaching. I literally see, like, he went on and on in all our session about, he was always pointing finger to the narcissist, blah, blah, blah. And then in the end of the day, I figured out that actually he was the first one. And I had to let him go, because I was like, this is, because again, many people would do that. And, I thought always, oh, the one that are really hurt by narcissists, I always felt like, oh, poor people. But in reality, many of them are actually the narcissist. And it's just funny.
I don't think pissing people off here, but I don't think you can be with a narcissist unless you match that energy in some way, which would be a form of narcissism. Like if I'm seeing narcissists, I've now learned there is something about me I need to be yes and no. Yeah, there's like sociopathy, but like if
No,
I'm
well,
seeing a
it's true though. It's true because uh, I admitted it when I was with my ex-boyfriend. He was a narcissist, and it's not that I wasn't a narcissist, but then I was addicted to being mistreated. So I was addicted to feeling inferior and being manipulated. Like, so when I split it with him, I had to recognize that on him, but also I had to recognize in myself that something was absolutely out of order because people would be like, after 3 years of somebody treating you like that, it means that something is wrong in you as well. If you just tolerate it in that way and you become a total carpet for manipulation and abuse and like lowering your self-esteem and mental, like something must be not right in both sides.
It's two puzzle pieces, and I have some good visuals on it. I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, you can't. It's not necessarily that you create those behaviors or you make that person do that thing, but like, let's like, oh god, I should go get the jigsaw puzzle pieces that are all over my floor. I have to go pick up. But like, it's literally like, if you're a puzzle piece that has a dent in it, like a little circle, and they have a puzzle piece that has a circle sticking out, right? They're going to fit perfectly. So it's our responsibility to smooth that hole in that jigsaw puzzle piece if we want to stop having that insertion or boundary violation. Like, that's the healing point, is self-love and boundaries, which is really hard, because if you were born and raised with a hole in you like that, that's what feels natural. That's what feels comfortable. You're addicted to
Yeah,
it. You like them. It feels like home.
it feels like
But
home. Yes,
I
100%.
that's a very powerful phrase in that song, because it's true. We confuse, unhealthy, harmful, toxic, abusive behaviors as love, because the people who were first supposed to show us love, unfortunately, didn't know how to love either, and we malform that. But as adults, like you're talking about the flipping, eventually people just say, I've had enough. I want different. I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. And the common denominator in all my situations is, who's the
Abuse.
common? No, it's us. We are the only
Oh,
being that
yes,
goes
yes. I mean, yeah.
our power back and saying, what can I change? What can I do differently? And it's hard. It's so hard, because you don't
I
just
mean, for
change.
me, it,
Yeah.
it was the same. My dad used to love in a really weird way, so I had so I went on in my life looking for that, not consciously, but yeah.
Have you ever heard of the phrase? It's a really old video I made because I had learned it in therapy, but it was called a trauma ghost. And you don't. It feels like it's like, before you're fully conscious of those parts of your subconscious that are driving those patterns, you keep recreating the same situation over and over, and it's like you're ghost hunting. You're like, what is it? What is it? And you haven't woken up to that it being you and that nuclear pattern, right? So you're hunting ghosts, and you're trying to resolve something that happened in the past with your family that you can't change. And so you try to recreate the situation over and over again because it's unresolved. It's like the most prolonged period of grief ever, because that repression of it, I sound like Carl Jung, I'm not a psychologist, but that repression of it causes you just to keep doing it over. The more we avoid something, the more we create it. That's
Mm-mm.
like a just shadow work line, right? And that's what's happening, right? Our family created, this horrible memory experience, we repress it, and then we keep creating it until we realize we go back to the past and solve it. Ah, I could rattle on about it forever. Yeah, I have a lot of personal experience dealing with that stuff, and it's just the stuff you wake up to. Like, you're like, my father, loved me in some really strange ways. Like, you don't even realize. There are moments in the healing journey where you have that memory come back, and you're like, wait a second, because you probably thought that stuff with your dad was normal, right? Until you started having some sort of friction with it in your life, where you re-encountered it, and you're like, wait a second. And that wait a second moment, that little whisper, is what kicks off the whole thing. It's important.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't even know. I think for me, the hardest thing that I had to let go was the anger, because I've done some healing even yesterday, and for me, I recognized the pattern. I recognized everything. I moved on from it. I manifest way better relationship now. I manifest a lot of things with such an ease, but. Ugh, I still have that anger sometimes that it's like, oh my god, I wanna kill him. But then it's like what that is gonna do. We carry the anger. We carry that and when you are able to detach finally, I found myself the final I'm able to detach. It's like I'm not that little person no more, and I'm not keeping myself in that loop of for suffering. That happened. It wasn't great, but look at me now. Look, and like it's like almost detaching from. That's why I think it's an ego death, because it's not an ego death, but you that part of you has done and received, and you just detach from it now. It's old now. It is a point in time. But for a long time I had to deal properly my root chakra. I would be constantly ill because there was anger. And sorry, just a second to answer to Andrew's cool. I will pray. You will pray for me, and you want me to turn to God. Like, dude, you are in the wrong place. I'm just telling you this. Um, sorry. Some, but yeah, I feel that anyway, collectively, even in our healing journey, we're doing big step now. There is like an acceleration thing. It's like being like this,
But
like a
uh,
catapult.
like you're in a vortex, like a top, it's spinning, and as it goes faster and faster, there's something in impermanent access or something, or inconsistent access, and there's a wobble, and that's the divergent, like as a collective energy, and it can go
Mm,
good, bad. And so what happens as a you ever notice how like as the this top stops spinning, it wobbles, right? And it wobbles more and more and more, but it speeds up. I think like somehow collectively, energetically, that's kind of what we're experiencing. Like somebody spun the top, be it God, source, whatever, and it's slowing down. And that's like the end of the world. That is the book of Revelation. Oh, I'm getting chills. That is apocalypse, because heaven and hell both are coexisting, but there's a decision. And
mm,
somebody
mm.
told me that they could flip a switch on, and I guess it's like the stopping point, and it's like going like this, and it at that point, that's where it ends.
Well, I think we are splitting. I think we are splitting. Like I see people that are currently in hell. So I mean,
But it can from they can be in hell today and heaven tomorrow. Like I'm having some dichotomies like that too, and it's not bipolar. Let's not go there, but
no.
it's well, I've never experienced it before. It's just like whoa. People are talking a lot more about quantum leaping and jumping. I don't think normally that would have been available, but because of that increase of the wobble, that super whatever it is, I don't know what a physics person would describe it. They're both just as easily accessible.
Yes. Yeah. They're both accessible, and then if you will have to, it's a matter of choice. How many can you be present enough to, understand what you want to choose and when you want to be. Because unfortunately I've seen people that is a constant, like, one day is in hell, one day is in heaven, but they're not choosing the healing. So they keep ignoring spirit, that they keep ignoring what is good for them. They keep distracting themselves, um and that is like, well, that is free will. And Dolores Cannon, she was explaining about the two earths that would be splitting, and she said there's going to be a long period of adjustment and anchoring of these two reality, but eventually she said they will split. So I truly feel that this is the chance that we have been given now to heal ourselves, and very quickly, like intuitively, everyone is able to understand where you have to go if you listen to spirit. And yeah.
Do you think? Because I've just been really struggling about like the left behinds and like or like because it feels like a fear narrative. Like either I'm going to superposition A or superposition B, and like in terms of the split, like Earth A, Earth B. I had a vision a couple years ago, and I explained it in a video where it's actually a whole spectrum of Earths. I'm getting chills. So it's not just two Earths, there's a whole range. I just think, I think technically, according to physics, we as a soul will exist in all realms, from hell to heaven and in between when the split happens. I don't think there's any like left behind. I think the observed reality that we observe depends on us. I saw this video that the surfer dude, I don't know, the Surfer's Bible, I don't know if you follow, he just posted it. It's a clip from a movie or something, and it's talking about photosynthesis and superpositioning and how the plant works. And this is important because what you're talking about, like not healing stuff, it's not necessarily healing, it's the focus,
Yes.
right? The plant absolutely has unwavering faith that it will, the light photon will reach it. And there's something about twin flames in this reality. Like, I don't want to bring this up. It's just, I keep seeing things that make me think that he's going to choose someone else, or he has chosen someone else, and it will trigger me in fear. And the answer is to know that anything that's meant for me, unwavering, is going to come to me.
Yes.
Like, it's present. I have to be like that plant to get the
Yes.
photon and wash
But
and review fear-based thing.
but
And
you
that's
know,
just,
I do believe that though the non-believer will be left behind. And I'm sorry, I don't know. That is only my idea. Believer, what does it mean? The one that doesn't understand this, like the one that think that this reality is still only the what you see and the physical 1 + 1 is 2, and what you see, you get me. The non-believer, meaning the non-believer in energy, the non-believer in what you cannot see, the non-believer in the oneness, the non-believer in possibilities, then that I do believe they will left behind. But it's not a fear based. They will be left in the reality that they see. So it's not really left behind, but it's just they will be in their own view, I think.
and that maybe I hate to keep, I'm not tooting my own horn. I just like, I'm like, I already said this in the video. It's like a thing I do. I don't know why I have to look at that, but that's the rapture. I'm getting chills. I'm getting big chills. That's the rapture, is when the split happens, people are just not going to be observed anymore. And then there's where people are passing away, like a whole bunch of Orion star seeds passed away because they weren't going to participate in the split or the shift or whatever. But that is the rapture. Is like whenever the split does happen, people become affixed to their observed reality. And I guess that would mean we're all co-creators, more or less.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. I'm thinking about this as physics, and it's just like, wow. And there's
I mean,
something
and
about
even
April 23rd. That's an important date. Passover is really important. And it's not that it's Passover. There's something happening April 23rd.
okay.
I don't, but for people, like, get out in nature. I'm offering a hike here in Pittsburgh to meet up with some people who are interested, but like, get out in nature, make you a priority that day. Like, I don't know a date or time. It's just, I've been given downloads about that. So yeah.
We will see. We will see. Well, for me, I had a lot of download about the twin flames, and this, like a lot of union are coming together. And I mean, I cannot go into my specific situation, but in general, what I can say is that many will be shocked by the fact that the twin flame is not at all what you thought it was. Many will realize in a good way, but many will be shocked when they understand that it's not the person that they were thinking, and it's not the look that they were thinking, or the age that they were thinking, and some of them will also receive multiple choices, because as well as the fact that some union, it happened that not everyone saw God, not everyone saw source, so not everyone chose the sacred path. And so but I don't know. The tarot reading that I've done for actually a few people, they're speaking about union. In my life, something like very funny happened, and I was like, okay. But in a good way. We will be shocked, we will be surprised, and we will be like, we will, it will do something, because we will have, when we come together, you will feel almost physically the level of high energy that you two hold together. It just fucking like,
But here's the secret that I think to twin flames, why there would be a force that'd be so like the dragon energy, why it would be so opposed to the unions, is we speak about energy that it can neither be created nor destroyed in this universe. I don't think that's true. If you know a little bit about Celestine prophecies, there's a certain interdependence when you're truly connected and not energy stealing or giving. That is when co-creation happens, the
yes.
building of energy.
Mm,
And
mm.
there is something, and more chills today. There is something really important about that union and the construction, because I think the new paradigms and the new earth can't be built without those unions. You need that creation of energy. Otherwise, you're stealing from old broken systems, and that's just not going to work.
Mm.
It's so important. And it, like, when I realized that, I was like, oh, that's why they're fighting against it so hard. Like all the karmic storylines and all the stuff to keep those energies apart, whatever they manifest as, there's a huge investment
No,
in
and
keeping.
I've seen that also in especially in men, for some reason, because the woman, we are automatically more connected to spirit, we are automatically more connected to source, we give birth, we are more sensitive and all that, and uh but men, they actually have a very important role. They don't even know that they are twin. They don't even know that they have a role, and they don't even believe in spirit and coincidence and everything that is happening to them, from coincidence or synchronicity to tower moment after tower moment to karmics that drain their energy and everything, and they still are very, very, oh, I don't believe in the crap. Oh, I'm
No,
really logical.
some of them were manipulated by whatever force that be, the dragon, Satan, whatever, to go after and harm and destroy the divine feminine. And they're starting to wake up and realize what they did. And they have such shame and guilt and hatred for what they did, because it was right in front of their face, and because of their own stuff. Some of them almost tried to kill the divine feminine. Like, that's how manipulated they were by karmic energies and so forth.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
some up and they're buried under the consequences of their actions, and they're like, oh my god, it's I mean, the level of corruption, it's really yeah, I think the men have it harder this time, I would say.
They do, and it's not. I've been connecting with like quite a few girls that they're doing tarot, and like they're focused and concentrating in twin flame journey, and yeah, like so many of those divine masculine are not actually aware of all the spiritual side, and then when they get presented with it, they completely laugh about it, because it's almost like an hysterical laugh, because they're so disconnected from themselves as well. They're so focused in the image, in the money, in achieving, in having those girls around. It is also, and some of them, for what my download with source, some of them is like, well, they're unsavable, because they sent all the they sent everything, spirit did everything they could, and some of them will lose the prize, which is the divine feminine. And but this doesn't mean nothing for us, because this is why I was saying that many of us will be surprised and shocked, because it might not be that person that made it, because it was destructive, or it was but we will still meet another twin flame, or another.
It still haunts me. Like, there is, so I had a dream where, the only time I've ever met mine is in dreams, and he's very real in real life. It's really interesting. But literally, he was pulling strings, and like the networking where we cross paths are all covert behind the scenes. It's a very interesting story. But they in the dream, because he was attacking me and hated me, like he was like screaming at me, and I was like, you don't understand me. I never got to speak my truth. You don't hear me. You don't hear me. I kid you not, Matthew McConaughey in the dream of all people pulled me away from this guy, and they took him, put his hands behind his back, and took him down a staircase outside of the astral library. They took him away, and he was so angry at me. And I was like, I didn't do anything to you. Like, what is your problem? And then Matthew McConaughey in the dream was like, you're safe now. It's okay. You're safe now. And that was
Yes.
the dream. And that dream for the twin flame haunts me because that guy hated me. And it's just like, wow. And then I heard some of the tarot stuff, and yeah, it was just, and I was obsessed with being heard and seen. Like, I just need to speak my truth. And I think that's how a lot of divine feminines feel, is really misperceived, misunderstood,
Yes, yes, yes.
undervalued.
Because
Yeah.
I had anger as well to my twin. I mean, that guy. I met this guy, and he activated the shit out of me. Just by meeting him 3 times, he did something to my kundalini. I bursted like a volcano. Like in. I saw him 3 times, and he was the most damn guy I ever seen in my entire life. And I wrote a song, and I record a song, and I painted, and I started to do my YouTube. Like, it was like he did something to me, and I just like,
Yeah.
and then he ghosted me, of course, the typical of the story. And like, now I still feel his anger, and I still feel his pain. And it's fascinating how, um like, in the beginning I was so sad about it, and victim, and thinking I'm not, like, he haven't seen me, he misunderstood me, look what I did for you. And I switched completely, because finally I understood that is only his loss. I'm grateful for the fact that he enlightened the flame, so he created the sparkle in me. But I became the goddess. Like, I became, and he's like, dude, if you lose me, sayonara, your life is gonna be boring as fuck. And like, as soon as I hold that strongly into my being, Source was like, oh, here we are. You can have this guy, or you can have that guy, or you can have that. And I was like, sorry? I was like, what? And I still feel him, no matter now. I still feel like his temptation of, he wants to message me, like, I can feel it. But I'm completely like, it's like, whatever, dude. I mean, whatever.
I don't know how union works or any of that. Like, I have not seen. I've seen him mine in dreams, like coming towards me, like as like a prophetic thing. But I have never seen. Well, I never saw a real union. Oh, maybe I did. It goes back many lifetimes. Many lifetimes. Like,
Mm,
I and stuff, ancient unions. Like, we've been doing this for a long time, apparently. But I do know what you're talking about with the other options. Somebody in the comments said, "Do the ones who are karmic turn into soulmates when they change?" So I don't. Let's take psychology and abuse, all that stuff off the table. Let's assume there's no abuse, whatever, because I don't want to condone a dangerous situation. What I have found to be true, as a cliche phrase, is when I get better, specifically in the way I treat myself, the way around people around me treat me also gets better. Now,
yes.
I touched upon someone who really had it out for me previously, who now is significantly kinder to me. And I think it's because I'm holding myself in a higher regard. And I think that also attaches to twin flames, because twin flames, I think they can be karmic based on how
Yes.
you treat yourself. So, like, they're going to manifest as your shadow, essentially. So, do you have
Yes.
self-loathing? Self-hatred? Are you not loyal to yourself? Do you cheat on yourself? Like, do you break your promises to yourself? List all of the ways you treat yourself, like shit. And there's a good chance that twin flame's going to manifest like that. And then people will try to call the twin flame karmic. That's karmic is a way to dodge accountability for you as the observer and what you're creating in your life. So that's
Yes.
why I stay away from karmics. It really falls on you. As you get better, the world around you is going to reflect that.
Yeah, it's
Take it
simple like that, because that's why they get confused, and people is again one way to put the focus again outside of you. It's the same story. It's like if you manifest toxic people, it's because you're toxic. If you manifest people that treat you like, for me, if somebody come and have an energy of a player, or it has an energy of confusion, for me they're out automatically. They don't even have the time to send four messages. Like I can sense when there is player energy confusion, when there is power game, when there is hiding. Oh, I don't understand if he likes me. That is all. Like, I don't need that. Like, and I would not even give them the possibility to create that in my life. So that's why people were like, when I say to people I don't have karmics, is because I can spot a karmic, and is already out. Like, I don't need nobody. So either they have an uplift, either they're sorted out, or either they're out of my life, no matter if it's a friend, a relationship, like romantic, or even work wise. It goes in all the sector, because work is the same. You can go to work, and I opened a business with karmic once, and was enough. You get me? It's like toxic people are everywhere, in your job, in your friends, and romantic and family even. So it's like, either you really understand that the game is not pointing finger and recognize them with labels. The game is, don't let dirty or bad energy come into your space. It's simple as that. And instead they get caught up in the gossip thing. They're like, no, yeah, he was a karmic. It's not that he's a karmic, it's you that you don't you are chatting with the wrong person. It's very simple, but some
I,
people, they
I feel like
need that drama.
with that, but okay, so can I shift gears a little bit, kind of tangentially, like going to, all right, so masculine, feminine energies, right? I don't know if you noticed it, but like there's a lot of back and forth, like, oh, it's on the masculine to step up. And then like, but what you find is that the feminine energies are becoming more masculine. Something really interesting has happened where I've switched, like you talk about that pancake, that flip, and it's like I'm doing the feminine for me. It's going to be really interesting because you're not waiting for the masculine to embrace your feminine energies. Like it's an act of faith to embrace your feminine energy without the promise of security of masculine energy outside of yourself. But watch, when you take that leap of faith and become more feminine without the security of a masculine, watch what happens.
The
You're gonna
masculine
say,
will come.
yeah, yeah, watch.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. This is what
And
happened to me. Like, I
it's
manifested this soul, this guy that my brain just went like, what? And it's because I finally I'm healing by myself the feminine, and I am. It's almost like,
is that a bird outside your window right now?
yeah. Sorry, it's the seagull in
No,
Brighton.
I love it because you're right next to the ocean. I keep hearing it. I'm like, yes. Can you see the ocean from your window?
No, but you can't see. Oh, maybe, I mean, you can't really see the ocean. Oh, today is
Cloudy.
like gray as fuck, but usually you can see the sunset and like a little bit of the line of the water, but it's far. Yeah, the seagull in Brighton, they have this noise. They seem they're about to die, but they're actually normal like that. It's funny.
No, I grew. This is the furthest I've ever lived from the ocean, and it bothers me. I feel like a silky. who somebody stole their coat from to trap them, and I'm like trying to find the coat to take it back and get back to the ocean. I'm like, let me
Like
go.
you should. You were about to sell the house, weren't you? You should try
I,
and move.
I did.
You
I
should
sold
try
the.
and move near the shore, no?
I'm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I have a small one. I have a child. I am a co-parent, so
All right.
I have plans for the future. I have the dream. I'm not going to share it. I know exactly what I'm going to end up when I'm done doing my role as mother. I know exactly where I'm going. I know.
Good.
It'll all work itself out.
Laser focus.
Right.
Unmovable trust, and that's it.
Uh, what goals are you working on for yourself? Speaking of goals and stuff, like you don't have to share, but like, what are you focusing? Are you focusing on career? Are you focusing on energy? Like, what's it looking for you? Like with this shift?
Well, I've always been like I just focus on being me and being able to just be me in a more authentic way. And I've been doing the same thing really, but the shift was because I finally, like, I dropped expectation totally, and I allowed myself to really really trust, even though, like, trust meaning I will not do anything that is out of alignment for me, even though this means that, sometime I was looking at my bank account and I was like, oh my god, like, kind of dying.
Okay.
But I was unmovable, and I was like, I trust, and if I'm gonna end up in the street, fuck, I'm gonna be in the street. It's okay. And something happened. Uh, I even started to do things that in my mind was like, oh my god, am I going backwards? I started to work 2 days a week in a shop, and I have really bad memories because I opened a business, it failed. um, I felt myself being like of compromising myself, and so I started to work in this salon 2 days a week. And the voices that come in your head, and they're like, oh, you're not moving forward, you are going to repeat another cycle, and like scary vision of things. And I was just constantly, every time those voices came, I was always like, no, I trust, no, I just want to be me and be happy. And things just, like, I started to get customer for massages, and then they were interested in coaching sessions, and it was such a good thing of me going to the shop and open it and speaking to people. It was just like, oh my god. And again, I wouldn't have done it before because I was like, oh, that you are going backwards, or you're gonna repeat the same shit. What do you think this is gonna be different? You are meant to do online stuff. The mind always create what is supposed to be, how it's supposed to look like. And the more you release that control, it's like, no, I actually don't have fucking idea of how it's supposed to be. The only thing I know is that I'm gonna do stuff, and according of how I feel, I will know if it's good for me or not. If I'm doing it, in the end of the day, I feel great, then it means that that is fine in your reality. And releasing control, essentially. Releasing control and understand that you can always reinvent yourself. You can always do even the same thing but in a different way. Like, we have so much freedom and we don't realize it really.
Oh, that
um
people ask me what I want to do. That freedom overwhelms me because not only am I have white privilege. Let's just put that on the table. I'm hyperly conscious of all the opportunities I have. Granted, I am a woman, but this earth has so many wonderful things you can choose from as a catalog. And when you've tried many things and you're semi decent at them, that is a high class problem, right? And for me, that's the most terrifying part. It's like, oh my God, what do I want? Like, it's like having a buffet of really hot men and you don't choose any of them because you're just overwhelmed with options. Like, that's like the concept of, like, for me in jobs and careers. And so what I have to be careful with is, historically, I will settle for something that's safe or comfortable, right, instead of going after what I really want because of
Mm.
that dilemma. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's
Well, it
easier.
depends. What do you mean by, because I mean, I'm a nutter though, so I don't really know. Like for me, I don't, for me, what does it mean for you comfortable? You mean that you don't have to
Apply,
overstretch your, sorry?
like, a sloth can win, right? So, like, let's say I'm out looking for jobs, right, or I haven't really, like, put the effort out, or even just made a decision that I'm going to head in a certain direction. I haven't even told the universe where I want to go, but I'm like, I'm not going to take the action. I'm not going to ask myself the tough questions. I'm not going to take action even in the face of rejection, right? I'm just going to take what shows up. And when I take what shows up, yeah, the universe will provide, but it's going to be something that doesn't value me, doesn't put me in high regard. That's the last job I quit the last one because I just, it just, like, flopped in front of me, and it was way less than what I would have normally want. You know what I mean? Instead of going by the heart in the faith center and being like, I believe I'm worthy of whatever my heart desires. This is what I want, and taking action, because the universe isn't going to show up for those things that you want unless you take some action towards it.
Yeah, but also you shouldn't put your feet down a little bit. Like, I don't, when I found this job at the salon, for example, I was really brutal with, not brutal, but was like, this is how I work. If you take it, you take it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. There is no if but or can you do this, can you do that. It's like, this is what I will do, and this is how I'm gonna do it, and this is what I'm gonna ask. And if you're happy, you're happy. If you're not happy, you're somebody else. And it, getting what you for me at least, I don't like to. It's because maybe I'm really artistic, I don't know, but I don't like to uh accept something that it's like, I don't know. Probably we're also in different field, I guess, of jobs. But like, if I get offered an office job, for example, it would be really hard for me to say yes. But not because I'm gonna go out of my comfort zone. It's just I want to do. Like, I'm too free. I'm just a free horse. So it's like I.
I think you give an example, like, of what you're doing. Like, so I had it in mind when I had to find a place to live, right, to rent. I had in mind, and I made videos about this, kind of talking a little bit about the experience, but I had in mind what I wanted, right? And the
Mhm.
universe made that, right, for a good price and all that. But here's the backdoor test. The backdoor was, they sent me the lease, and it's the most craziest lease I've ever seen. It's a private owner. Like, they could same day evict you, take all your property. Like, the scenario that was built, the contingent, like the what if scenario, the worst case scenario, is awful for me as a renter, right? And I tried to redline it, be like, no, I'm going to speak my piece, what I need, right? And I redlined the contract, added in my piece, still protecting their concerns that they claim to have to create the contingencies to begin with, right? Just adding protection for me, and that person rejected it. And that's what I knew. I was like, this is what manifestation looks like in the universe. You have to know exactly what you want and be unwavering in faith, knowing that something better was going to show up. And something did. Something more safe, secure showed up for me. And you
Cool.
have to be project. You speak up for what you want, unwavering,
Yes.
like what you're talking about at the salon, and be willing to walk away when they say no. You're not going to chase them. You're not going to try to change them into nope. You're going to be like, I have unwavering faith that this wasn't meant for either of us. I'm going to move away. What's meant for me is going to show up. And
Yes.
that is faith-based living. It's not out of
Yeah.
fear. Did I
Yes.
like it? Absolutely not, because I had started counting those chickens before they hatched, and I was like, "This is perfect. This is gonna be." And then the lease showed up, and that was a very big spiritual lesson for me. The same is true for work, relationships, all of that. There's a book I talk about that I still haven't done all the questions for. Maybe I should do that before the 23rd. Maybe I should sit down and do that. Take my own advice, but it's called Flight Plan by Brian Tracy, and I did it a few years ago, like 10 years ago, and it asks you all the questions, like, what do you want from your life? What do you want your career to look like? What do you want your love life to look like? What kind of income? What kind of home life? What kind of family life? what the hell do you want? Right?
I don't know, like, I don't know. It's funny because so many people say this to me about manifestation. I just, I just cannot. Like, I can tell you what I would like to feel, 100%, but I cannot tell you how it's gonna look like. I can tell you what I want to feel. That, yes, but in looking, I always think that we deceive ourselves because
tell our story. When we try to manifest via 3D versus what you're talking about, the heart center, like love, like I want to be emotionally secure in a relationship. I want to feel safe. I want to feel financially secure. Like that's how I write it for the exercise that I have.
oh, good.
But like if I tried to figure out what person would fit that bill for me, I would sell myself short because the divine has thousands, millions of eyes. They can see me through past my shadow and know exactly what I need. And that's why I talk about be careful what you manifest. You're absolutely right, is what I'm saying. I'm completely aligned with you that it is emotion based. Like, how do you want to feel? What is your desired outcome? Not in the 3D, but from the heart,
From
which
the
is what,
heart.
yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know, even on a guy, I used to fantasize a lot about guys, okay? Because I am really flashy in a sense. Like, I love certain looks. I'm obsessed with ginger people. I've got a huge kink for ginger, like a huge kink for
Oh,
ginger.
we will never fight over a guy ever.
No, we will not. And but this is like, I'm like that. Yeah, I've got this. I'm proper weird. I love like blue veins in pearl skin. I'm proper. Anyway, and I'm obsessed with sort of like, it has to be a mountain. It has to be tall, as like I cannot see the end and
They're
whatever.
called trees, and you're supposed to be able to climb them.
Anyway, I don't know why I've always been so obsessed with certain things, like physically, you get me. And
Back and shoulders, the tall and the shoulders. And I'm a strong woman and I'm tall, so that's a high bar. But the feeling I put on that manifestation list is I want to feel physically compatible. Because I've dated the skinny
right,
guys. I don't fit in that cookie cutter. You know what I mean? So
yeah. But
yeah.
anyway, and I met some, and then I realized there was one particular guy that I met lately, and he's like, well, he's nothing that I. But what I felt, it it shocked me. It was like, wait a moment,
Yeah.
this safe, this feeling actually is what I was long looking for, but I never found it. And so, spirit, it was a funny way to tell me, like, you can imagine all the shit you like, but the universe know what is good for you. And I
Yeah.
think that for me, it was a very big lesson. And so I think it's like this even for jobs or the look of a house. You could be so, it's like, oh, I want it like this, that. And then maybe you have it and then you walk in it, but the feeling, it's like, and then maybe something that is totally out of your parameter, like, it give you security and give you something that you haven't felt before, like even a house. I was always in love with, like, big windows and like tiles. And I remember walking into one of my friend's house, and it was all wood, it was really rustic, and it was really like dark, and the wood was like dark wood. And I was walking in it, and I was like, okay, this is really something that I would never think of. But sitting in all that wood, I had a feeling that I was like, oh my God, I actually need fucking wood around me. And I thought I needed tiles and modern and window.
Okay. Okay. No, because where I ended up, where I ended up, the place wouldn't have been my pick based on physical parameters. Had I done the manifest, exactly what you're talking about with the wood, but with carpet, because I thought like, oh, I want wood floors, because my house traditionally had wood floors, right? No carpet,
All
right? Because
right.
I had cats for a long time. Now I don't have cats. I got carpeted floors because I was just like, I'll just take whatever the universe sends me. Like, it knows what I want. And on top of that, the leasing office people are super kind, super respectful, and responsive. So I feel seen, I feel, respected and protected. But it's not what I would have picked had I picked the physical attributes. It is very interesting. We are a very important part of our manifestation journey, like our alignment. We should just call it alignment, because that's what we're
Yeah.
trying to do, is align what's best for us. We're not trying to create. We're actually just trying to get on the track, because we picked a perfect track for ourselves before we came here. It's just trying to remember that and get the hell out of the way so we can be there.
Mm.
So yeah, I'm
Mm.
loving this conversation. We have to get going. I know I jumped in. I like rambled on for a lot. This
Oh,
is
it's
a good
okay. Don't worry. Yeah,
part.
no, but we will find each other. You know how we are. At some point, we will bump into the same life.
Yeah, it's a good flow. Let's keep it up. So yeah, have a wonderful day. Say hello to the seagulls. Are you gonna go walk to the water today?
Well, I've been already, but there was super sun this morning, and now it's like foggy and it's very like coldish. So I don't think I will go out again.
Give
But
it 30
sorry.
minutes. Give it 30 minutes.
Yeah, maybe we'll. Yeah, maybe we'll. If it clears out, I will go. I will go.
Okay. Well, get the most out of your day, and we'll talk soon.
Mwah.
Bye.
Bye.